That was close. My whole floor was almost wearing Diet Coke. Hello. Happy Sunday. Okay, so this has been a really, really interesting day. A really interesting day. Well, so we had the... Hello, how are you guys? Hi, Tanner. Happy Sunday. Danielle, hi. How are you doing? Yay. Hello, hello. Yeah, it's been an interesting Sunday. Yesterday was... Sorry, I had a hair in my mouth. Yesterday we had the... What was it? The hands-off protest. The days of the hands-off protest. So that was really interesting. It kind of felt like a big nothing burger. I saw somewhere... I'm really good, Danielle. Things are great. Just chilling. We got a new dog at the house, so her name is Bella. She's a little, like, we got her from the rescue. She's a little Maltese mixed with Yorkie, so she's very cute. I like her. Sorry, I don't mean to put on lipstick, but I'm going to. I don't mean to, but I am. I do mean to. I fully intend on putting lipstick on right now. She's very cute. Hi, Kenny. Yeah, she's very cute. So I took her for a long ride just a little while ago. And that was fun. Hi, Marco. Oh, boy. Okay, so just so you guys know. Oh, Danielle, you had a lot of protesters. Do you mean Harrisburg? You're close to Harrisburg, right? What kind of dog? She's a Maltese mixed with Yorkie. And normally I don't buy a dog that's a very specific breed like that, but we got her from the shelter. She was dropped off by an elderly couple that they were just old and they were not doing well health-wise and they couldn't take care of her anymore. So they dropped her off. And then we were looking for a pet, so we went and got her. She's really fun and really cute. I took her for a ride today, and she likes rides. Okay, Danielle, yes, they were at the Capitol. They were at the Capitol in Harrisburg. I wonder, Danielle, if I can pull up your Harrisburg protest. Let's see if I can pull anything up on Twitter from Harrisburg. I did see... Is this going to be the same presentation as the live on TikTok? Were you just on TikTok? I don't know. Probably not. It's always a little bit different. I mean, the same topics kind of, but different stuff. For instance, we're going to be talking about Harrisburg. Oh, hi. I'm glad you're here. Well, thank you. Yeah, it was really interesting because one of the cities that I was looking at was Asheville, North Carolina, and it's interesting that they were having all these protests because this is also obviously the same place that got hit really bad by Hurricane Helene, and the difference between how things were taken care of in Asheville from, and I saw it firsthand. Contrast the Biden administration to the Trump administration. Literally just days after Trump's inauguration on January 20th, he was in Asheville talking to the people, letting them talk, and they mobilized the Army Corps of Engineers. They got them fixing the bridges. They got people into apartments. I mean, they did all of this stuff just mere days after Trump took office. That's how dedicated he was to going into North Carolina and helping people. So it's funny that Asheville was one of the big cities that had a lot of these protests, but what that tells me And if you watch some of the people at this protest, what that tells me is I don't think a lot of the people, I'm sure some were because Asheville is very, very liberal, which a lot of people don't. A lot of people think of North Carolina as being like a little bit more red and more Republican. They think of like rural North Carolina, but no, Asheville is very liberal. And oh, your Danielle says I'm reading. Excuse me. I'm reading an article right now. Yeah, like number 4. Yeah, but they had bunches of people, but that's what makes me think like some of these people, number 1, I don't think a lot of people are from Asheville, and I think a lot of them were paid. If you're looking at the interviews with some of the people, it's funny because they have no idea. They're questioned just a little bit. They're almost more clueless than the BLM protesters, to be honest with you. At least the BLM protesters could give you something, but these protesters, you ask them anything and they're just like, "Durr." They have no idea what they're talking about. And even a few of them like got a piece of paper and was like reading the piece of paper that whoever gave them. I have no idea. So that was what was interesting about Asheville. I'm like, you guys realize like Trump actually like saved your, but whatever. Okay, I'm looking at Harrisburg right now. This is so funny. Oh, you know what? Wow, I just pulled up Harrisonburg. So Harrisonburg, there's Harrisburg, Pennsylvania. Harrisonburg, Virginia is what I just pulled up. It must have pulled it up because I'm in Virginia. So Harrisonburg, Virginia had a bunch of protests. Harrisonburg, Virginia, it's a college town. Very liberal college town. James Madison University. Oh, I see some women. Okay, here, let me show you. This is funny. This is, okay, so Danielle, I know Danielle. She's essentially my cousin-in-law. She's my cousin. And she's right out, Danielle is right outside of Harrisburg. Danielle. They had some, so this is Harrisburg. They had some handsmaid tale. You can't have an anti-Trump protest without a few people dressed up as the handsmaid tale. Handmaid's tale. Handsmaid's tale? How do you say it? Handmaid's tale. Okay. Anyway. Which is even more funny if you want to add layers to it because the left really loves Islam. These people protest for fun. It's all about the vibes. They can't rub two brain cells together. Yeah, I agree. It's about the vibes. You question them a little bit. At least the BLM people, they gave you a little bit of something. You have to give them some credit. The BLM people, they gave you something. But these people, they're like, let me get my encyclopedia. Oh, Scott Pressler. He was at Harrisonburg. He was in the Capitol. But this wasn't today. Incredible. Fewer than 24 hours, people across Pennsylvania stop the steal. Okay, that's not what I'm looking for, okay? Oh, that was in 2020. Yeah, we're not looking for that. Is Harrisburg very liberal? I don't know what Harrisburg is. Is it very liberal? I grew up in Georgia, but my whole family, they're from Pennsylvania. So I have a lot of extended family in Pennsylvania. But I grew up in Georgia. My parents moved there for a job. And then I also have family in Virginia, and right now I'm currently in Virginia. But I've lived all over. I've lived in Colorado. I've lived in California.
Hi, everybody. This is Scott Todd. I just saw a clip on X.
Yeah, let's see what he has to say. Elon Musk just tweeted this. Oh yeah, it is. Okay. Most capital cities are. It's not as liberal as Philly, Pittsburgh, or Erie, though. Yeah, one of my really good friends, well, we're not really friends anymore, but she lives in Philadelphia, so I'm very familiar with Philadelphia as well. Philadelphia, very, very liberal. I've never been to Erie.
Hi, everybody. This is Scott Todd. I just saw a clip on X where Sam Harris.
Yes, I'm a Yankee, but I'm Southern too. At the same, I grew up in Georgia, so I don't know what I'm a mutt is what I am. I do have ancestors that fought in the Civil War, and they were actual Yankees. Okay, let's listen to Gadsad.
Hi, everybody. This is Scott Todd. I just saw a clip on X where Sam Harris is sharing his profound disappointment that Joe Rogan would allow all sorts of people on his platform that quote.
I thought that was going to be cooler. Sorry. How'd you get to Cali? At the time I was doing some voice acting and regular acting, and I lived in Colorado, so it's not that far from California. And I don't know, I was in a position where I could move somewhere, and I was really into the voice acting, and I got an agent in California, so I moved out to LA for a few years and just was auditioning there and doing stuff. My sisters live in the Springs. Wait, what do you mean? You mean, oh, Colorado. Okay, Colorado Springs. Colorado Springs? I am familiar. I have a friend that's moving back out there. Hot Springs, Arkansas. Actually, one of my favorite things about Colorado, they have so many cool little towns. Actually, Pennsylvania does too. Pennsylvania has a lot of cool, like little like mountain towns or just cool little towns. That's my favorite things about some of those states. One of my favorite little towns in Colorado is Idaho Springs. So cute. And they have my favorite brewery, Tommy Knocker. The Maple Brown. I went to Tommy Knocker after going whitewater rafting. So I wanted to go whitewater rafting. I went with my boyfriend at the time. And so we go, and what had happened was it was in Idaho Springs essentially. And yeah, Idaho Springs, so cute. It's an old mining town. And go to Tommy Knocker. Even if you don't like beer, I think they serve food and stuff. But it's a cool little brewery. And do you know what a Tommy Knocker is? A Tommy Knocker is, hold on. Okay, so a Tommy Knocker, remember I told you it's an old mining town? So a Tommy Knocker is a creature, it's like folklore, it's a creature related to mining lore. The Knocker, Knacker, beast, a mythical creature that hangs out in the, why are they called Tommyknockers? The term Tommyknocker originates from Cornish and Welsh folklore, referring to mythical creatures or spirits believed to dwell in mines, and to indicate the presence of rich veins of ore knocking or to warn miners of impending danger. So it's like it's like it's lore for mining, mining. And Idaho Springs is an old mining town, so Tommyknocker is the brewery there. Yeah, very cool. There's a lot of cool stuff like that. Anyway, we went whitewater rafting in Idaho Springs, and there's like different levels that you can sign up to go. It's like easy, intermediate, and then you have like level 4 or 5 rapids that are like more expert. And so I thought it'd be really fun to go on a Sunday. So my boyfriend and I went, and we signed up for intermediate. So they're just, it's not too easy, but you have a little bit of rapids. Anyway, we get there and they tell us, hey, just so you know, this was springtime, by the way. They said, hey, just so you know, we just had a really, really big snow melt, and the rapids are going to be a lot higher. So he goes, I want to tell you guys this because I know you signed up for intermediate, but you're going to have level 4 and 5 rapids. You're in the level above. So, and our tour guide was like, just listen, like, I feel comfortable taking you, like, we feel fine taking you. But just know what you're not getting, the intermediate level. And they did tell us, they were like, look, somebody is going to fall out of the raft. Like, it's just going to happen. And we were like, okay, we'll do it. Yeah, 2 people fell out of our raft. They got so freaked out that they quit halfway through. So we only had 4 people in our raft. It was so intense. I peed in my wetsuit. We were so scared, but I just remember I was terrified. I was like, it was so intense. Like there were parts where like our rapid, like you go up and you're going back down into the water, and literally all you could see in front of you. I was in the front, which, by the way, if you're in the front of the rapid, that means that you're the more experienced one. Yeah, we weren't experienced. We were just the only ones brave enough to go in the front of the rapid, and I'm also the smallest one on the raft. So our tour guide he's really intense. He's like, effing row! And we're like working our butts off, like rowing, and all you see in front of you are just giant walls of water. Like, that's it. And you would go seconds without even being able to breathe because the water was so intense. And yes, I peed in my wetsuit. And I remember we went to Tommyknocker after, and I will say that was the best beer that I've ever had. Oh, I got a beer and a burger. That was the best beer and burger that I ever had in my whole life. Danielle, you're always in the front. Well, Danielle, do you know Uncle Robbie? He was telling me my Aunt Lisa, they went whitewater rafting when they were younger, and my Aunt Lisa, Ashley's mom, she got stuck in a whirlpool, and he had to pull her out by her hair. But it was fun. Yeah, it was fun after, when I touched ground. They have my favorite beer. It's the Maple Brown. Hold on, let me see if I can. Tommyknocker Brewery. Ah! I did have fun in Colorado. I will say that. Guys, it closes at 8 p.m. You got to get there quick. It's the Maple Brown. That's one of my favorite beers. Tommyknocker Maple Brown. You could have left the pee part out. No, that's the best part. What are you talking about? Should try kayak. Have I? Oh, I have gone kayaking. But I was in calm water, though, when I was kayaking. But I have been kayaking. Now it's pretty fun. Actually, no. The water was... I kayaked in the ocean, so it wasn't really that calm. We were rafting one time, and they always take photos of us. Here, your Uncle Robbie's hair looked bleach blonde. Happy Sunday fun day. Thank you, James. Danielle, you need to go with us sometimes. I would love to. I think as long as the rapids aren't as intense. No, well, that's what happens when you have so much snow melt is it obviously the water level rises. So the rapids naturally are a lot bigger, but they weren't expecting to have all that snow melt. Yay! Michael says, oh, Sarah, I'm definitely putting Idaho Springs on my bucket list. It is so, I love like little just, let me see if I can pull some stuff up. Idaho Springs. And it's actually really easy to get to from Denver. If you're not used to driving in the mountains, it's not that far in the mountains, but it's still like a little mountain town. So it's easy to get to. It's not that hard to get to. Because some of these little towns, you're driving like, you're driving way in the mountains. It's basically still considered Denver metro area, but it's in the mountains, or it's more in the mountains. I didn't know you were in town. Well, I'm not in town. I used to live in Denver. Oh, you're right by Red Rocks. Michael, I have to get going now. See you again on TikTok. Can't wait for your Bible reading again. See you. Oh, okay. I know. I need to do my Bible reading again. I need to make a schedule. I have too many channels happening. But I love all of them. As long as I'm organized in my time and scheduled, I can manage all of them. That's what I need to do. Yeah, I am coming back soon. Very much so. That Bible reading, honestly, it was one of my favorite things that I did. And I still have my newer Bible like right here. It really is one of my favorite things. And to be honest, the reason I started it because it was just a personal goal of mine to read the Bible all the way through, at least once in my life, to read it all the way through. And I figured, a good way to hold myself accountable and also share would be to start a YouTube channel where I'm reading it out loud. And it was really good because sometimes I would have to read things a few times. So I felt like I was really digesting it. And I was keeping myself accountable. And we got through a good bit of it. I mean, still like no more than like this or anything, but we got through a good bit of it. But it was one of my favorite things that I did. This past year was just the craziest year. I needed to take some time off, but I'm ready to get back. But because I have this YouTube channel going, which I like, and I haven't even been consistent on here, and then I have my TikTok and all these other things. So you just have to, it's not hard to do. You just have to really manage your time so you can get everything done. Oh, Tanner, we're in the final days of our Lord's return. That's great, Sarah. I read the Bible every day. Thank you, Danielle. I do too. I don't read it front to back, but I love it. And you can see, and you know what else? If you guys have TikTok or on YouTube too, sometimes what I'll do on TikTok is I'll go through and I'll just look at Bible verses and they'll see, but you can see I love my Bible. I read it all the time. It's a good book. It's a good book. But yeah, on TikTok, what I'll do sometimes in the morning is I'll look up like Bible verses and they'll have Bible verses in there and then I'll go back in there and read those. Michael, okay, look forward to it. You need another social media account to make you extra. No, I don't need any more social media accounts. No, I have 2 TikToks. I have 2 YouTubes. I have an Instagram and a Twitter account. That's about as much as I can handle right now. And then I go live so much, so it's a lot. And I have the type of brain that if it's not really organized, I'm gonna like I'll forget everything. I'll get overwhelmed and then I won't do anything. I don't need any more. I'm looking at Idaho Springs. Yeah, it's super cute. I'm trying to get a good picture up for you. But Danielle, doesn't well, so Pennsylvania has a lot of old like steel stuff, right? And don't they have mining, don't they? Like up in they have mining towns, is that right? Hopefully you're really happy in life reading the Bible. Oh, I love it. I can't believe I went through so much of my life not even opening it or reading it. I can't believe that. And I grew up in the church, but I feel like a lot of people are similar to me where they grow up in the church, but they never really actually read the Bible, or it's just something you do and you don't pay attention. Yep, they do. Okay. Yeah, so that's why like I feel like a lot of these little towns in Colorado, obviously it's a different state, but they kind of reminded me of Pennsylvania. I feel like Idaho Springs has a cool train. Oh, Idaho Springs also. Okay, so you can go. They have definitely go to Tommyknocker. They do have hot springs. You can obviously you can go whitewater rafting. You know, just check the levels. You might sign up for intermediate and you're in level 5 rapids. That might happen, and you might pee in your wetsuit. Okay, that could happen to you. It happens to everyone, or just me. Did someone ask if I have an OnlyFans? Okay, you're bye-bye. Thank you, Michael. I deleted. Sometimes when I don't know what it is, it's not as bad, but sometimes you'll see like a few hundred people in here. When I don't know what it is, but when I go live on on my phone on the app, we'll get a bunch of trolls and they all say that, "What's your OnlyFans?" So you don't have no, I don't have one. Oh, yep. Yeah, we see what you're doing there. I see your name. You're getting hid. You're getting hide. You're hiding. Bye-bye. Okay, we got rid of that user as well. Did you see the person right behind him? Wait, so you don't have one? No! I know, I saw that. I almost let him stay and then I read the name. I was like, okay, bye-bye. I don't know what it is, but so I'll go live on my StreamYard. It's like a program that I use, and that's what helps me like pull videos up when I'm live. So I'll do that. But when I go live directly in the YouTube app, I guess it promotes your live out to other people. So you'll just get a bunch of random people. And that's when the trolls, that's when all the trolls come in. They make things interesting for sure. Sarah's coming back to Broncos country. Oh yeah, Idaho Springs. Yeah, there's a lot of pictures, but um, it's just a cute little old mining town. Here, let me pull one up. My internet's being very slow. And it really makes me mad about Colorado because it's such a beautiful state. It has horrible leadership, like horrible. And with this, like the huge mass migration that happened, a lot of them are in Colorado. Like, for instance, there was a story that I was reading, 80 Venezuelans under a bridge in the mountains, like right around Aspen area. So it's such a beautiful state and it deserves to be protected and it deserves to have good leadership. But it just doesn't right now. Hopefully that changes. There's a lot of good people. There's a lot of good people in Colorado, but unfortunately they have bad leadership. So, and yeah, it kind of looks like this. Well, that's the downtown area. See, it's just like an old, kind of an old little western town. Oh wow, Michael says, oh yes, my sister has called me complaining about their government many times. Yeah, it sucks because, and I feel the same way about California. California is a great state. Obviously, it gets a lot of hate, but the reason it gets so much hate is because of the leadership. That's what makes things so awful in California. It is such a beautiful state. It deserves to have good leadership, but they just don't. Yeah, I hope so. Real McCoy says, yeah, oh, yeah, James, Polis and Johnston. Yeah, Mayor Johnston. Ugh. And did you see what Polis just did? So, for those that don't know, Polis, that's the governor of Colorado. And then Mayor Mike Johnston, that's the mayor of Denver, the capital city of Colorado. So what Governor Jared Polis, that's his name. What Governor Jared Polis just did is he signed into law essentially lowering the standards for if you are in the country illegally. He just lowered the standards for you to be able to obtain a driver's license. So basically, he's fast tracking people that are in the country illegally to get their licenses. So he lowered all of these standards, and his justification for doing this was that it's going to make the roads safer because you have a lot of people in the streets that don't have their license or that don't have proper like registration or insurance. So he's just going to lower the standards. Instead of getting those people off the street, he's going to lower the standards. And we all know why they're doing that, right? Because when you go to the DMV to get your driver's license, you also get registered to vote. I used to think that was a conspiracy, and now I don't, because of things like Jared Polis. They're fighting to keep all of the illegal immigrants in their state, and then they're making it easier for them to obtain driver's license, which will put them on the voter registry. They're going to say that they don't, but they do. Oh, wait. Okay. So if you ever get the chance, visit Columbia, Tennessee. Great town. Okay. Thank you. I love hearing about cute little towns. I've been to Tennessee. Obviously, I've been to Nashville, Chattanooga. When I was younger, I went to Chattanooga, Tennessee. I stayed at the Chattanooga Choo Choo. I hope they get federal funding cut off. Not that I want Colorado to get federal funding cut off, but you don't get to do that. And when the last time I was in Denver, Colorado was in October, and just driving like back and forth from Denver to the airport, I saw more people on the road. And mind you, I lived in Denver for 5 years. And I never saw this, ever. I lived in Denver for 5 years. I think I moved out in 2016. That's when I moved to California for a while. I never saw cars without license plate, but I'm on the highway, and it almost felt like every other car didn't have a license plate. There are literally cars driving around without license plates. The satanic Denver airport. Blucifer. Bye, Walkie. Yeah, and instead of getting people off the road, he's just like, well, we're just going to lower the standards because they're already on the road. So we'll just lower the standards. Like, that's going to make it safer. But we all know why they're lowering the standards. That's no secret. Yeah, it was crazy because they let in all these illegal immigrants and they're just driving around without license and or even plates on their cars. It's crazy. And I've been in a lot of sanctuary cities, but Denver was by far the worst as far as like people being on the road. We are praying lots of rosaries for Colorado and the nation. That's wonderful. Yes, Blucifer. Okay, if you guys don't know what we're talking about, let me look it up, and then I gotta get off of here. Blucifer. So the Denver airport, there's tons of... The Denver airport has a lot of conspiracy theories because it is kind of a weird airport. First of all, they have this blue... is it a Mustang? They have this blue Mustang that has red eyes, and it actually injured the guy that made it. And it looks demonic. That's why they call it Blucifer. And it did. It injured the guy that made it. I think it fell on him and cut off one of his main arteries in his leg. And then also, like, inside the airport, there's just a lot of really creepy artwork, and it's just weird. So there's a lot of conspiracy theories. This is Blucifer. So look it up on your own if you want to see a better picture. Just Google it. This is right outside the Denver airport. That blue Mustang, and it has bright red eyes. Oh, it's a Bronco Mustang. Yeah, so that's Denver. And then apparently there's a bunch of tunnels under it, but tunnels, that's not enough to make me go into conspiracy land, because everyone has tunnels. No, it's a horse. It's a horse statue, and it's really, I don't know how tall it is actually, but it's right outside of the Denver airport. And at night, it's a blue Mustang or Bronco horse, right? Bronco. And at night, his eyes are red. Creepy. Okay, you all, that's everything I have for you tonight. Thank you so much for being here. I'm staying out of Colorado. No, you have to go see it. Go to the airport, man. Thank you, Jason. Go to the airport. No, it does. Look up Denver airport. We should do a whole live stream about that, actually. That would be really fun to talk about all the Denver airport conspiracies. There's a bunch of them. Okay, bye, Michael, Hawk, Danielle. Bye, you guys. I'll see you all later. It is a beautiful, absolutely, Colorado is such a beautiful state. Poor leadership, for sure. Okay, thank you. Bring holy water to the airport. Okay, bye, you all.